Once again, good morning, dear students. We will discuss the clinical manifestations of shock. So, we have seen in detail the pathophysiological changes what can be happen. Next is regarding the clinical manifestations of shock. So, one more thing which I wanted to add is the manifestations, or it is based on the stages of shock. So based on prognosis of the patient, because according to the volume depletion, the changes which happens in an individual will be varying to another. It will be depending upon the age of the person, volume available in the patient, volume loss, or the cardiac failure, degree of cardiac failure. These all factors will be depending on the prognosis of the person or prognosis in the shock. So we can generally classify the person's stages of shock into compensated, that is compensatory mechanisms are working properly, that is the body is compensated. The second is uncompensated shock, and the third one is irreversible or terminal shock. So, the clinical manifestations of the individual will be depending upon these stages of shock, whether the person is compensated or uncompensated, or the person is in irreversible or terminal shock. Depending upon that, the manifestations of the person will be varying. So pathophysiology you have to understand. So how the person's body is compensated. If it is not compensated, the person will be going for uncompensated or irreversible or terminal shock. So first we can see the compensated shock. Vital organ function is maintained by intrinsic compensatory mechanisms. Like blood flow is usually normal or increased, but generally uneven or maldistributed in the microcirculation. So body function, especially vital organ function, is normal, and it is maintained by the intrinsic and other mechanisms which we have discussed in the earlier video. And blood flow is normal, but it is affected in the microcirculation is affected. So some amount of decreased capillary refill can be observed in the compensated shock, and slight cold clammy skin also can be seen. So the clinical manifestations of a compensated shock individual is apprehensiveness, irritability, unexplained tachycardia but normal blood pressure, narrowing pulse pressure, there will be increased thirst, pallor can be there, some amount of diminished urine output, and reduced perfusion to extremities. So these are the clinical manifestations of a compensated shock. So the vital organs are normal, tissue perfusion is normal, only some amount of microcirculation is uneven. The next one is uncompensated shock. Efficiency of the cardiovascular system gradually diminishes until perfusion in the microcirculation becomes marginal despite compensatory adjustments. So some amount of reduction in cardiovascular function is there, and microcirculation is greatly affected to marginal perfusion. So that is about the uncompensated shock. So heart is affected, distribution becomes abnormal, microcirculation is affected seriously. So that is about the uncompensated shock, and we can see the manifestations like confusion and somnolence, tachypnea, moderate metabolic acidosis, oliguria, cold pale extremities, decreased skin turgor, poor capillary refilling. So these are the clinical manifestations of uncompensated shock. The next is irreversible or terminal shock. So here damage to vital organs such as heart or brain is happening regardless of therapeutic interventions. Something is done for treatment, but vital organs are grossly affected, then it is known as irreversible or terminal shock. So it can be thready, weak pulse, hypotension, periodic breathing or apnea, anuria, stupor, or coma. These all will be the manifestations of terminal shock. Next, we can see the diagnostic evaluation. So, the laboratory test can be done to identify the functioning of different organs like liver, blood gas analysis can be done, pH, lactic acid indications we can be seen in blood ABG values, liver function test can be done, coagulation test can be done, and if there is suspecting any sepsis, we can take blood culture in septic shock. Then renal function test will be done to identify the renal functioning. Next is the therapeutic management. So the first management is by ventilatory support. So in some, and the second is cardiovascular support. Third one is improve pumping action of heart. And we can see the first management by ventilatory support. So tracheal intubation is initiated, or oropharyngeal oropharyngeal intubation may be required. Then supplemental oxygen is given for the patient. Blood gas and pH are monitored. Maintain acid-base balance. Maintain circulation by adequate IV fluids or blood transfusion. Remove and any fluid accumulation like diuretics, like extremity edema. If this, we can administer diuretics. Next is the cardiovascular support. We can give isotonic crystalloid solution like an NS or RL. Then colloids may be required in some patients. If there is plasma loss is suspected, albumin can be given. Intake output chart may be required. Acidosis correction should be done by proper replacements. And next is improve pumping action of heart, so that anatropes can be given, dopamine, adrenaline, vasodilators may be required like nitroprusside. So this is about the treatment. So main three management options are ventilatory support, cardiovascular support, and the improve pumping action of heart. So next we can see the nursing management of a patient with shock, nursing diagnosis, decreased cardiac output related to poor blood circulation or return, impaired breathing pattern related to reduced pulmonary blood flow, ineffective gas exchange related to inadequate blood flow, fluid volume deficit related to excess loss from body tissues, risk for complications related to ineffective compensatory mechanisms. So this is our topic of today, that is shock. It's also very important topic because on examination point of view, one question can be expected from this type of topics. So write down notes properly, submit in the assignment column. Thank you very much.